video. Welcome everyone to this video. I hope you're all feeling the spooky spirit like I am in this month of October. Halloween's my favorite. So anyway, I did this presentation that I'm sharing with you all this evening. Relationship tips, self-explanatory. And I got this information online through blogs and mostly factual websites, websites on psychology, to prevent any forms of abuse, in a relationship, trauma, triggers from traumas, all forms, and just promoting equality. So let's get into it. So as you see in this slide here, it is a presentation on practices and tips to promote harmony and equality in any personal relationship. That's family, couples, business, etc. When there's a lot of just contact with the same people. Creating a thriving environment. So we're exercising responsibility and equality. Next slide is respect as a person, persons, however you identify. Becoming well acquainted with the person can lead to placement of our personal opinions, fears, and judgments, etc. So it goes more, the list goes on. But just getting familiarized with the person for so long that you're going to start actually demonstrating concerns. You're going to be less filtered, you're going to be uncensored, the formalities are out the window, you're used to that person, the way they talk, their way of thinking that you might not agree with. Usually they say online that it's like a 3-month period where you're living with someone or you're seeing someone daily, coworker or business partner or partners. After that 3-month time frame, it starts to just get a little bit, sticky and complicated. So the best ways through this presentation, I put 3 main points to exercise, the topic and discussion of the slide. So the first point is active listening. Actively listening, right? Just really making sure you're hearing the person's words and their expression rather than hearing and automatically assuming to therefore just override what they're actually telling you. Give them the benefit of doubt, right? Advocate, support them. All these things with, complicated talks and, actually respecting a person. You gotta always give them the benefit of the doubt. You can't just assume. It's easy to assume. It's so easy to just predict what's gonna happen. It's in our nature. But when you really advocate and support what they're saying, even if it's a reoccurring issue, sometimes the truth plays itself out. Actions speak louder, as they say. Value each and all opinions and thoughts, right? That feeds into the previous 2 points. Valuing their input. Healthy communication. Expression without any threatening words or behaviors. Uphold a comfortable space to confide in one another, right? Want to just try, because even words, emotional abuse is real. Emotional damage, right? We've heard that. It's real. It hurts just as much as a physical form of an attack. Communicating with clarity and passion in a calm, controlled manner. Look for the cues. Really analyze yourself or the person you're talking to, their volume of speaking. Are you trembling? Are they trembling? Do you feel hot? Tension in your body? Are your shoulders tight while you're talking? Is your heart accelerating? All these things, your body's your truth, right? And these cues can help you to actually, regulate yourself, to get back in control, to get more ease in your body, and to actually Take your time and pace your breath, pace yourself during any communication. Negotiating reasonably leads to a compromise acceptable to both. And this is a big one, so for the sake of the video, I'm gonna keep it brief. Negotiation, right? That's an art. When you're reasonable, when you're open to compromise, don't think that you have the upper hand with a certain topic. If a certain person has a flaw, or if they're in a place in a conversation where they feel like you're getting the upper hand, just really try your best to just come to a compromise and kind of advocate for them, right? As we just said, really feel for them. It goes both ways in this, video that I'm talking about you or the person talking to you, communication, right? But as long as you're both just coming to a compromise to have a happy medium, it'll be more healthy communication throughout the time. Acceptance of reasonable changes, right? Again, compromising, accepting any aftermaths. Shared responsibility, equal partnership. Every individual is in agreement with any negotiations or considerations discussed. So that's self-explanatory. That picks up from the healthy communication. You come to an agreement. First point is financial decisions are discussed. Economic arrangements serve all. So really make sure that any financial discussions, whether this is hard, this is tricky because there might be some, old-fashioned thinking where the male figure is the dominant when it comes to financial decisions. There's no warnings need to be made. It's my money. Even if both parties, whoever makes more money, has a bigger hand, it's hard. So if that wasn't an agreement in the beginning, try not to think that way, or try not to act that way from what you're familiar with, if the other person's not comfortable with that. Decisions are fully discussed before any actions are taken. And that, of course, is just really being respectful, really thinking for the person, right? Equal partnership, they're your equal. Thinking for them like the way you think for yourself. Transparency in arrangements for all. So, again, I said it already. There's just transparency. Everybody's open in agreements. Everybody's explaining details. Even if you think you're not entitled to explain yourself, if the other person's involved, just explain it, As long as you're reasonable on both ends, right? Practicing accountability. You're being honest and accountable for your actions. Big time. The ego gets in the way. Any traumas get in the way. Different things, different matters happen. So the best thing to do I have here is to acknowledge any recurring issue for improvements, towards yourself, towards the person. Always be gentle with words, as we stated in the beginning. Have a healthy form of communication during this process. Accepting your mistake. Responsible for yourself. So this was a big point with accountability. Obviously, right? To some of us it is. But I only say it because it was a big point with just practicing that. Just being open to say, hey, I'm responsible for my action. If it's a recurring issue that I've done, it's a flaw, you know what? I'm owning up to it. And that's gonna set the relationship going. That's gonna set things forward to say, let's do this now. Let's move past this. Being vulnerable and truthful to access the truth. And I mentioned that before, and just now. Really being vulnerable, really just being open and say, hey, I committed this crime. I don't want to just stick with it. Let's move past it. And then towards yourself, in your mind, you just take responsibility and you try to prevent that from happening again. Healthy parenting. Obviously, if you're a parent, it really pertains to you. Accepting full responsibility and accountability to create a healthy experience, right? How beautiful is that? So the last slide is about accountability, but this goes a long way for parenting. Setting a positive role model. That's just what it is. When you're responsible, sometimes we learn from our own children mistakes that we make, and it's easy to get caught up in being a parent and saying my way is the right way. But whether it's towards your child or towards your partner or your spouse, just being a positive role model for everyone, you know. Adapt to any new behaviors or changes. This is a big one if you have a child, because it's easy to just, again, say, you know, why are you doing this now? You know, why is this behavior happening? It's easy to just make that negative, to just stop it and diffuse it, to absolve them from doing that, from it happening again. But try to also just listen, have active listening skills. As you ask these questions, to just probe and answer that is more, it's more of the child's truth rather than an assumption you're making, you know? Never know. So it's good to just hear a child out, practice active listening to any new behaviors, and just adapt to it. If it's gonna keep happening, learn how to respond to it better to make it a healthy environment. Awareness and prevention of parental gaslighting. And I'm not gonna go through it for the sake of time. What gaslighting is with a parent, you know, briefly, it's just manipulation to pretty much coerce a child to do what you want them to do. You know, it's a whole thing. But one interesting thing I saw with this is that parents tend to do gaslighting tendencies with their child in a way where they're doing it, they think it's for its best, right? They think it's for he or she or the individual, the child's best. Like, they actually gaslight for their well-being. And that's just like crazy, because, you know, you're not even seeing that you're doing that if you're just taking care of your child and you're communicating with the child, and you're at the same time gaslighting them to fail, you know, for them to just crumble and feel shame. So yeah, that's a big one to just keep an eye out for. I could do a whole nother video on that, but I thought it was interesting how parents could actually gaslight just for like their well-being, and it's not healthy, right? Love and support. Respecting a person as an equal human being. Extend unconditioned love to build trust and support. Beautiful is that. One way to do that in any relationship is supporting their goals. You know, if this goal doesn't cause anything detrimental in the relationship, if it doesn't cause any negative impact in the relationship, support their goals. You know, your opinions and everything, your feelings, your thoughts. You mentioned that in the previous slide. It's good to express yourself and come into an understanding, but support their goals. You know, support that person's goals that you care about. Thoughts and concerns are valid on both ends, and that's a talking point after supporting their goals. You know, what they want to do, their goals, to them it means something. It's valid, even though it's probably ridiculous to you, right? Same thing with thoughts and concerns. You know, if you have a concern, you have to be fair on both ends to receive any criticism, and make sure you come to a mutual agreement, negotiate. Here are some practices to sustain successful relationships. Various support groups. Me personally, I've seen that there are support groups for children. There are support groups for parents that have children with special needs. There are support groups for parents that are trying to do their own business. There's so much support groups out there that we don't even know about. Just, you know, look at your municipalities, your local municipal buildings, for any info on that. And besides that, you can also look through Facebook groups, Facebook events. That's something that's really helpful to come acquainted with new people. And creating a structure together to best changes. And this one's beautiful, right? Just really write down certain agendas you have throughout the day. Make alarms as reminders, you know, make alarms to really dedicate time towards things. That's gonna really help a lot in a relationship. There's less chaos with that, it's more order. Journaling your thoughts, experiences. And this one, I don't want to be a hypocrite. It's hard for me to journal, but when I do journal and actually get thoughts out of my head, it really helps, because for me, I'm a restless person, so like I get tongue-tied sometimes because of that. But you just want to get done with it. Like, you want to just write things down, and you just get that feeling in the beginning, like you want to just get done with this thought. But as you warm up to the writing, it's actually like freeing. Like, you just get it out of your head. Dedicate time for yourself and each other. This one's great. You know, again, you create a structure, but you gotta put your foot down if you need me time. Even if you're a parent, especially if you're a parent, or if you're taking care of an elderly person, you gotta have your time. You know, you gotta have time for yourself to recharge. And time for each other as a couple, as partners, even as business partners. You know, it always helps to do little meetings here and there on the side to get things in order and to prep for any arrangements you have. So that's always good. Social support, friends or fam, that never hurts. It could get kind of controversial, especially with friends. The things you confide in them. I don't want to just say gossip. I want to be positive, but you don't even have to vent or treat them like a therapist. You could also just have support and say, hey, I need a laugh, or don't even ask for it. Just start some jokes, you know, get some fun time with people and just catch up with people. And that's always great. That's always refreshing to help you in your personal life. And grounding exercises. You know, you have gyms, you do physical exercises, meditation is good, nature, getting immersed in nature, walks, getting fresh air in the outdoors, many different grounding exercises, you know, things that are soothing are good as well. That pretty much brings this presentation to the end. I also have my platforms online there. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more, and I'll catch you in the next video.